Close Brewers manager Craig Counsell talks about importance of Jhoulys Chacin to his pitching staff. Tom Haudricourt, Milwaukee Journal SentinelMaybe there is something to this managing gig. Some of us have suggested over the years that the most important thing a manager does is set a tone. What he expects, what happens when he doesn't get it, etc. The idea that a baseball manager needs to be some master strategist was, to some of us, overstated. But now there is Milwaukee's Craig Counsell. He seems to be about 6 moves ahead of everyone else. And it's mattering, a lot. Consider this via TomVerducciFC.com. In trying to reach only their second World Series in franchise history, the Brewers are starting Gio Gonzalez in 2 of the first 4 NLCS games. That's the same Gio Gonzalez who ranked 43rd among 57 qualifiers in ERA, 4.21, and dead last in throwing strikes, 60.8%, and has never won a postseason start in 7 tries. Gonzalez makes sense, at least to Counsell, because he's left-handed and can force Los Angeles manager Dave Roberts, as he did in Game 1, to keep the 83 home runs of Max Muncy, Jock Peterson and Yasiel Puig out of the starting lineup. Everyone knows you're nothing in October without good starting pitching. So how come Milwaukee's best starter is a guy they picked from the bargain bin? Verducci. The last time he stepped on the mound at Dodger Stadium, back on August 2, Jhoulys Chacin gave up 9 runs. Naturally, in this upside-down world of the Brewers, he pitched a gem, 5 1/3 shutout innings, in Game 3 of the NLCS Monday night, with 3 hits. In Counsell world, a starter is just another reliever who happens to have the ball in the first inning. Verducci. No manager of a playoff team ever allowed his starters to face fewer batters a third time in a game, 660. Only Bob Melvin of Oakland this year ever made the playoffs by getting so many innings out of relievers than did Counsell, 614. In the postseason, Counsell has let his starters face a batter for a third time just 7 times. His starters have given up just 25 2/3 innings in 6 games, an average of 4 1/3 innings per start, but they have a 0.35 ERA, 1 earned run allowed, and the team is 5-1. What should this say to the Reds about who their new man should be, if anything? Counsell is playing to his team's strength, which is a wipeout bullpen. He has 3 guys, Hader, Nebel, Jeffress, who could close for just about anyone. But he's also making every right move with those guys. Is this the future? Will we see a day, sooner than later, when teams pay as much for pitchers who can get 3 or 6 guys out, as for pitchers who get 15 or 18 or 21 guys out? This seems a way right now for the smalls to compete, given the exorbitant cost of starting pitchers. Does Milwaukee's wealth of relievers make Counsell smart? Or does Counsell's wizardry in using them mean more? Fascinating stuff, and something for the Reds to ponder as they interview every baseball guy south of Calgary. Now, then. Is Tez worth it? It's always something with this guy. Does he ever mature? Does he ever change? If he does, great. If he doesn't, at what point does he become more trouble than he's worth? He had 8 tackles Sunday, second on the team. He also is under league review for 3 plays that might get him fined. Apparently, yet another suspension, for a hit on A. Brown, is not forthcoming. The league is trying to legislate perfect out. If he sees that, it didn't show Sunday. He has taken a lot of hits to the head. The way he plays suggests he might take a few more. It might be that perfect is an NFL comet, whose burst of brilliance is short-lived, undone by his recklessness. You can't be brilliant when you're suspended or concussed. Regardless, if perfect doesn't change the way he plays, behaves, there will come a day when his presence isn't worth the bother. That day just might arrive sooner than he thinks. Use your head, man. And not just as a battering ram. Delightful conversation Monday with FC Cincinnati coach Alan Koch. I'm no soccer expert, but I can write about people, and Koch is interesting people. Self-described minimalist, surfer, consumer of healthy food and Snickers ice cream bars, fan of Shiner Bock beer and fine wines. only man to have coached soccer at Baker College, Google it, and for the Vancouver Whitecaps. Urbane yet down-to-earth. Cool guy. His story, or at least my version of it, coming later this week, online and in the traditional media. Speaking of, it really is hard to teach an old dog new tricks. Especially an old dog, two-fingered typist. That's a reason I have all but ignored FCC, while continuing to dwell on the Reds. That's going to change, some. The fussball team is going to have to occupy more of my attention next year, for obvious reasons, but also for some not so obvious. The world really is changing this time. FCC is no passing thing, unlike its forebears here. Soccer is no family fling. What a revelation, Doc. It's only been happening for 3 years. Meantime, the Reds fan experience remains second to none, but the product hasn't kept pace. I can't keep doting on a poor product while ignoring the sizzle downtown. Time for a old dog to find new tricks. Meanwhile, Bleacher Report says the Reds should deal R. Iglesias. Does anyone have any solution for puppies who think their mouths are receptacles for everything immobile in the entire world? How do puppies make it out of adolescence when they feel the need to put everything they see down their pee holes? Esther the mini golden doodle. I know, stop laughing. I wanted him much. It is a cool kid, but he's majoring at the moment in eating big hunks of mulch. That can't be good. That said, the mellow cat Dylan has actually come to enjoy his crazy presence. Watching them play together is a main joy in TML's life. In case you were wondering. Philosophical question of the day, because we are nothing here if not philosophical. What are you most looking forward to, right now? Not in the existential sense. The fun stuff in the near future sense. Life is nothing without something to look forward to. For me, it's the roadie to KC Saturday, and some good local barbecue. Maybe a return trip to Harry S. Truman's home in Independence. Short but sweet. Jillian the Magnificent turns 29 tomorrow. Attention must be paid. Shopping must be done. To know the day, Alan Coke grew up in Durban, South Africa, right by the beach. His mom surfed in pro competitions. Which gets me to great surf tunes. I love beach music, East and West Coast. Here's one a little different, but very, very cool. Cowabunga, dudes and dudesses.